Coming to you from Grand Rounds Brewing Company and Restaurant, our town.
Here come the girl. You're looking so good as a doggone shame.
Last week, we dropped in on National Night Out Block Party in Rochester. If you'd like to get your neighbors together, my guest, Tiana Rossow, is here to help. Welcome to our town, Tiana.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, I've seen this really awesome trailer that you have out there called the Building Blocks trailer.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Building Blocks trailer is available to be rented free of charge by neighborhoods across the city of Rochester. It was a product of our Leadership Greater Rochester class this past year as our community impact project.
Can you tell us a little bit about Leadership Greater Rochester?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a program through the Rochester Area Chamber of Commerce. Each year, they select individuals to go through a program where you learn about leadership skills, you learn more about the community, and then you also take place in a community impact project.
So why did you choose this particular Building Blocks project?
So our class really came up with the idea together. We spend a lot of time talking about different needs in the community and where you really find a passion to plug in. We kept centering around community building and people getting to know one another, and we figured no better place to start that than in a neighborhood.
And that's a really ambitious project, so what was that process like?
Well, we had to start from scratch. So the class got together and brainstormed on how we could really make it happen. We put together ideas for fundraising. The trailer is really supported by our sponsors. So we went out to different corporations looking for sponsorships on the trailer. That allowed us to secure the trailer, all the contents in it. And then what's really going to make it successful going forward is our partnerships. So we are partnering with Rochester Parks and Recreation Department and our neighbors in order to really get the trailer out on the streets and have it available for use.
Great. And can you describe a little bit of what the trailer does, what's inside, how is it fitted out?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a fully wrapped trailer. You'll definitely recognize it when it's around town and in neighborhoods. The Building Blocks trailer, building community one block at a time. And inside we have all the components you need for a block party. So we've got tables, chairs, benches. We have yard games, board games. We even have garbage cans, first aid kits, everything that you're really going to need for a block party.
Great. And so how far has it been used in terms of, you were at National Night Out, has it been used in other places?
Yeah, so really we're just launching it right now. So National Night Out was the first night we actually drove it around town, went to some parties, introduced the idea to different neighborhoods. We have it today at Thursdays on First, and then we will be using it as a Silver Lake fundraiser coming up on Saturday.
And how have people been responding to the trailer?
Oh, they just love it. Everybody says, what a wonderful idea. I can't believe you guys came up with this. And, you know, it was a lot of work. It all started from scratch with our class, figuring out how to put it into place here in Rochester. But the great thing is we saw some great examples of it across the country where it's really worked and people are finding the benefits of it.
Well, I've been dying to throw a block party in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
So how would I reserve this trailer?
Yeah, so we don't have it available quite yet because we're still going through the process of getting all of our items in there and getting it all built out securely. But then we will be handing it over to our community partners. So the trailer will be available through Rochester Parks and Rec reservation system. And if you want to learn more about it, you can actually visit the Our Neighbors website, which is ourneighbors.org. And they'll have information on there as soon as we get that trailer out and rolling, which is hopefully in this next month of September.
That's great. And are you imagining that it would be individuals in neighborhoods or maybe groups of families and folks getting together in a neighborhood to use the trailer?
Absolutely. So, you know, there's probably neighborhoods out there that already have active organizations, might even have a block party, but they say, how can we make it better? You know, it's going to be available for those folks to have all the things that they need. Or there might just be an individual in a neighborhood who says, I really wish I had a way to bring my neighbors together, but I don't know how to do it with all the supplies. And so this will be available for all different types of uses.
And we're always talking about how Rochester is growing and the city is expanding. How do you see the role of neighborhoods and communities in that growth?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, as we bring more people into Rochester, I think they really need to get rooted in order to really love the community and have a reason to stay. And so from my personal experience, that comes with knowing your neighbors, having a little bit more security in where you live, getting to know people, having people to rely on that are next door to you. We really want to try to bring that back.
Great. How can people get more information, staying tuned to what's going on?
Yeah,
with
so
y'all?
the best place right now is to just hop onto Facebook and you can search Building Blocks Rochester. Right there you're going to see some of our progress along the way, the photos, the events that we've been at and we will be going to. And then from there, when we hand it over, ourneighbors.org.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for joining us today, Tiana, and good luck with this awesome trailer.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Our Town is brought to you in part by the following amazing people and organizations.
The new Clements Subaru proudly partners with award-winning KSMQ Public Television. Clements Subaru of Rochester. Clements' clear value promise is to make buying a Subaru fast, fair, and simple. The Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.
And the members of KSMQ Public Television. Thank you.
What a great trailer. I forgot to ask her if burgers and brats come with the package. Stay with us. Our Town is bringing you more stories about Rochester. The Heritage House Victorian Museum shows us a slice of life from the 1800s. Coles Mill was incredibly important to the local economy until our priorities emerged. And there are new facilities for gymnasts and swimmers on the drawing table for Rochester. We'll find out more. Up first, we check out the second annual Rochester City Jazz Fest in this week's Our Culture segment.
My name is John SIEVERS and I'm the trombonist for the SIEVERS. I'm a jazz enthusiast and I'm organizing the second annual Rochester City Jazz Festival this year. The second annual Rochester City Jazz Festival is going to be a pretty exciting event. It starts out with a community jam session with the SIEVERS hosting, so community members can sign up to sing or play a song along with the SIEVERS, a jazz standard. And that goes from 1 until 3:30. And then we're going to have the John Paulson group from 4 until 5, and he's an excellent regional saxophone flautist, and he's going to have a good group with him. And then from 5:30 until 6:30, we got the Jana Nyberg 5, and that group features a female vocalist. There's a little bit of a pop tinge to the jazz. And then finally, this is my favorite name, the ILLICIT Sextet is going to close out the evening from 7 to 8 p.m. The awesome post-bop kind of a band, instrumental. They've got several records out, and it should be a great day of jazz in Rochester. At the festival also, we're going to be featuring food and drink from Grand Rounds Brewery, and the event this year has been sponsored generously by a couple of different folks. We're getting some sponsorship from the Rochester Downtown Alliance, also from the Rochester Civic Theater, where the festival is actually taking place, and then we're getting some support from Northern Sun Productions and the 507 Magazine. So those are all awesome supporters of the second Jazz Fest. So the first annual Rochester City Jazz Festival was at the Rochester Civic Theater, and we're bringing it back to the theater again this year. It seems like Rochesterites actually are pretty excited about jazz music. I've been doing a thing for a good number of years now called the Jazz Jam, and kind of the Jazz Festival organically grew out of that Jazz Jam actually. So I kind of saw that there was a grassroots interest in jazz, and as that kind of has built and organized, I said, why do we not have our own jazz festival? And that's kind of what is spurring this forward now, to have the Jazz Festival in Rochester. My interest in jazz was actually fueled when I was pretty young. I guess it started, I'll have to say, at a yard sale. I found a trombone at a yard sale. It cost $25. My dad said, I'll buy you this trombone. And so he got me that trombone, and I started working on music just in general in kind of the summer of 5th grade. And then I had a pretty influential early teacher, Alan Gus, Mr. Gus, and he had been a band director at a prison actually before he came to the junior high, and he was just exactly what I needed, and he encouraged me to improvise, and had a lot of fun with him, and that's kind of where my love for the music grew from. So the yard sale and the prison band director is exactly what I needed to get spurred into doing more jazz. So the second annual Rochester City Jazz Festival is going to be at the Rochester Civic Theater on August 13th from 1 until 8 p.m. If you want to get more information about the festival, you can check it out on Facebook and just do a search for Rochester City Jazz Festival. All the details will be listed there, including how you can get tickets. Tickets are $20 and they'll be available at the door, or you can buy them in advance through an Eventbrite page. I hope I see all of you out there at the Jazz Festival. It's going to be a fun family event, and I really would encourage you to come down and see what Rochester has to offer in the world of jazz.
For more information about this story and other Our Town features, connect with us on Facebook, Twitter at KSMQ #OurTown, or ksmq.org/OurTown.
Zucchini is one of the most reliable vegetables in the garden, and it's great. That is until you have zucchini coming out your ears, a problem I know way too well. So head down to the Rochester Farmers Market during National Farmers Market Week, August 6th to the 13th, for more examples of summer's bounty. They will have plenty of tempting vegetables and baked goods and meat and much more. They will also probably have a few recipes to help you use up all those goodies you're bound to purchase. It just all looks so good this time of year. Find the Rochester Downtown Farmers Market at 323 4th Street Southeast on Saturdays from 7:30 a.m. to noon. And a few weeks ago, we mentioned the great news that a couple of local businesses, Xylo Technologies and Brand Hoot, were national finalists for a Small Business Award. The Rochester Area Chamber of Commerce has organized a trip to Washington, D.C. from September 10th to the 13th to cheer them on, and also participate in the U.S. Chamber of Commerce's Small Business Summit. The event features world-class speakers and panelists, great networking and business opportunities, and of course, the Dream Big Small Business of the Year Awards. Check out rochestermnchamber.com for more details. And the Minnesota Adult and Teen Challenge is making plans for a new women's treatment facility here in Rochester. To help them reach their goal, they are hosting the Dreamy Night Wear White benefit. On Friday, August 18th, enjoy the best beauty bar in town where you can get a massage, a henna tattoo, get your hair styled, or your nails done. On Saturday, August 19th, stretch your legs at the 5K event, including a 1-mile kids fun run. More details at rochesterassembly.com. If you're a fan of outdoor movies, check out the History Center of Olmsted County on Friday, August 25th for their final show of the season, Captain America: Civil War. The movie runs from 8 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. and it's just $5. Seniors and kids 12 and under are free. Concessions are available, so grab some popcorn and enjoy the show. Built in 1875, the Heritage House Victorian Museum is a lovingly restored home that survived Rochester's tornado of 1883. We drop in to find out what life was like in the 19th century in this week's Walkabout segment.
Hi, this is Dorothea Fritz. Welcome to Our Town Walkabout here at Heritage House Victorian Museum. Heritage House was built in 1875 for Timothy and Eliza Whiting. It was scheduled to be demolished in the early 70s and was saved by a local preservationist, Louise Hill. It's a Victorian era home that is in the Italianate style, and we are standing in the first parlor. Some of the interesting points of in this room are the square grand piano that was built for the Whitings. It's rosewood. The Victorian era was the reign of Queen Victoria, which was 1837 to 1901. And there was quite a few different types of furniture that were in fashion in those years that spanned from the clunkiness sort of this piano to the more smooth aspects of these horsehair covered chairs. This is the library of the house, and not everything in the house belonged to the Whitings, but several pieces were donated back to the house when it was being renovated. One of them was this rocking chair. It is an example of a middle-class home in that era. This is the only home in Rochester of that era that can be seen by the public. Another reason that this house is significant is because it survived the 1883 tornado that devastated part of Rochester and gave rise to Mayo Clinic. Well, this is Dorothea Fritz, and I hope that you come to visit Heritage House Victorian Museum. I think you'll find it very interesting.
In the near future, Rochester will have brand new facilities for swimmers and gymnasts. And these two folks are here to tell us more. Stay with us.
Our past, remembering what made us who we are today. Brought to you by the History Center of Olmsted County.
Coles Mill, also called Zumbro Mill, stood on East Fremont Street at 2nd Avenue in Rochester. Originally built in 1857, J.M. Cole purchased the mill in 1864. Standing on the west bank of the Zumbro River, a mill pond and mill race powered its grist mill. The water passing beneath turned the millstones at more than 100 revolutions per minute. The Great Rochester Cyclone of 1883 badly damaged the mill. Being the tallest building on the north side of town, pictures of the storm's destruction were taken from its upper floor. The mill was rebuilt, but on September 9, 1931, a Post-Bulletin headline declared, "City Grist Mill and Mill Pond doomed." The City Council voted for their removal, stating that when the mill pond was filled in, it would become a valuable piece of city property. Today, the Rochester Power Plant sits on the mill pond site.
I'm not saying I can live on love alone. That's the only thing that
Rochester is fortunate to have a strong sports tradition and excellent facilities for many competitors. Kappas and Eric Buechler are on a mission to bring it up another notch. Welcome to our town.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So can you tell us a little bit about each of your organizations? So Autumn, you work with the Rochester Swim Club Orcas, and you're with the Rochester Gymnastics Club. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yep, we're a nonprofit organization. We work with kids ages 3 all the way through adulthood, and we offer swimming lessons, competitive swim team, a dive team, and also master swimming for adults.
And Roga Gymnastics is a new organization just this year. We started offering service to both team boys and girls in June. We also service preschool kids when our facility is open in January, and also recreation gymnastics for school-age kids.
That's great. We don't often put swimming and gymnastics together, but you're thinking about co-locating or planning to co-locate your facility. How did that idea come about?
Well, we were looking for a facility. We purchased the land about 2 years ago, and it was in close proximity to the Rochester Rec Center where our competitive team is. We didn't want to be too far and have parents driving all across town, so that's why we chose that location. And the next up to you.
Yeah, we had been looking at several locations here in Orinoco and Iota, and also in Rochester. And then our commercial realtor Scott Haas had mentioned that Orcas was looking to kind of partner with another sports organization, and it was right in kind of the center of Rochester. And so we thought, great. It's right kind of near a park area and where there's trails for the kids and stuff like that. And we have 4 children in our family, and we are carting them all over for different after school activities. So we thought this would be kind of a great location, and it would be good for parents that have kids in multiple sports. It would be in the center so that the families could get back and forth quite easily.
Yeah, a really central location. And it also fills a little bit of a gap in the facilities available out here in Rochester. What do you think is missing from the current facilities?
For us, it's the warm water. We need the warm water for the little kids. Little kids thrive in the warm water. When it's cold, that's all they want to do is get out of the water. So for us, the warm water was the key for us.
For us, we wanted to have a facility that was large enough to have both boys and girls team. Nationwide, most of the programs concentrate on the girls' side of things, and the boys have 6 events, and so we want to have a large enough facility where we would, and really good equipment for the kids to compete. And so that's something that's not in the area that we have now. You would have to drive to Minneapolis to do that. So.
Great. And is there something that each of you are excited about in terms of what the new facility would look like or provide?
For us, it's just having a separate facility that's easy in and easy out. We're not sharing it with other people, other groups. A lot of times we've been in schools and it's hard to find the pool in a school. So for us, it's just an easy in and out for the parents.
For us, our facility is a kind of a long, narrow building, which for us, we really kind of like that concept so that our team gymnasts can be on one side of the gymnastics gym and our recreation kids can be on the other side, which helps with safety for the kids and for noise levels.
Sure. And the timeline for this project is looking like what for you all?
We're hoping to break ground later in the fall.
Okay, great.
We're looking to break ground by September 15th this year.
That's really exciting. And have you been partnering with anyone in terms of funding, or how are you getting the funding for the facility?
We privately have been saving for many, many years, long before I've ever come to the organization. But we also have another group, Achieve Results Physical Therapy, that is going to be using the pool during the day, the warm water for their patients and clients, and that helps us to get the money to get started.
Of course.
We'll have private financing from my wife, Tamara, and I, and from Volley and Rebecca Funzik, our partners, and then traditional bank financing.
Great. And the great thing about this too is that you're sort of providing facilities for existing athletes, but how do you think this will also help in terms of encouraging amateur to elite competitors in both of the sports that you have here?
I think just giving them the warm water to start and then being able to grow and then grow into the bigger groups in the rec center gets us more kids to become competitive swimmers.
Sure, and competitive for you can even mean Olympic level?
Yep,
That's
Olympic
great.
trial qualifiers, correct.
That's great.
We have kind of a coaching paradigm that has a base of fitness and strength that goes with our training. And we think that, along with the facility that we have that has proper equipment, elite equipment for boys and girls, will allow to kind of build a program. And with Coach Volley having a university degree in coaching, being a national Romanian gymnast, and having national champions that he's instructed for his athletes, that we can have a program here in Rochester that kids can be on the national team and or earn college scholarships for the team level gymnasts.
And with such a facility, you can also think about maybe recruiting even more competitive and elite coaches and trainers as well. So,
that's right.
Yeah, great. And how many athletes are you thinking about accommodating in each of your sports?
We, on average right now, have about 200 kids a week that comes to our swim lessons at all different locations. So we're hoping to be able to offer about 300 to 400 kids coming in the doors.
We'll look to accommodate about 450 athletes.
Okay. And in terms of age ranges, what are those age ranges for those athletes?
For the swim lessons, for us, we start at age 3, and the kids typically end the swim lessons about age 12 at the most.
For us, the kids will be mostly the ages of 3 to age 18, but for boys gymnastics, they peak a little bit later, so some of our boys might hang around until they're in their mid-20s.
Oh, great. And thinking maybe more than 10 years down the road, what is your vision for this facility for each of your sports?
For us, is just getting more kids into the competitive swim program and just having a large number of kids know how to swim here in Rochester. There's way too many kids out there that just don't know how to swim. So being able to offer a place for kids with scholarships and all kinds of other kids with disabilities as well in this warm water pool would be helpful.
Our goal on the team side is to have kids on the national program and then also getting Division I or Division II scholarships. And on the recreation side in preschool, we want to have a fun, innovative, gymnastics facility that they can come and have a good time at.
Sure thing. And perhaps I missed this, but how do you interface with the different existing clubs and academies out in the city?
At the high school levels?
Right, at the high school level.
Yeah, we have kids that swim during the high school season, and then they come back to us for the rest of the year. So we just offer year-round programming for all of those kids.
Unfortunately, here in Minnesota, the boys program was ended in the late 1990s. So really club gymnastics or community ed is the only place for boys to go to gymnastics. As for girls, some of the girls will choose to end their club gymnastics and go to the girls' facilities at the high school level. And some of them will continue with the club and also compete at the high school level.
How did each of you get your start to the swimming and gymnastics?
I've swam since I was a child and just always started swimming and never stopped.
I came through a community ed program from our coach where gymnastics was wildly popular in the 1970s, and then competed at the high school level.
And since you're both such experts in these two different sports, how would you rate the caliber of the athletes we have here in the community?
Oh, we have a great caliber. We have lots of kids at an elite level here in Rochester, and they all start at age 3 somewhere.
Yeah, I've been impressed. It came from the Twin Cities area where I grew up and down here, and the sports community down here is really great. There's a lot of support, and the gymnasts that we have coming through are really, really good and really talented.
How can people find more information and get their kids signed up and just kind of keep tabs on the new facilities?
Our best way to get a hold of us is www.swimorcas.com or find us on Facebook.
And for us on the web, it's rogagym.com, or on Facebook you can type in Roga, R-O-G-A, Rochester Gymnastics Academy.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you for joining us today. Next week, we'll get a preview of the upcoming solar eclipse. I'll hope you join us on Our Town, the show about Rochester.
You can access more information about KSMQ on Facebook and at ksmq.org.